Back now with more of our special coverage of the crash today of Flight 17 in Ukraine, the second disastrous end for a Malaysia Airlines plane this year. As you'll recall, Flight 370 is still missing, presumably somewhere in the Indian Ocean. If you're wondering why Flight 17 was flying so close to a war zone, well, so were we. And we asked our transportation correspondent Jeff Pegues to look into that.
Before MH17 went down in Ukraine, it was following a flight path from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur that its pilots should have been familiar with. In the last 2 weeks, the plane flew roughly the same path 14 times, traversing the diagonal length of Ukraine to the Sea of Azov close to Crimea. But today's route deviated slightly. The Boeing 777 went farther north than typical. It's unclear why. Because of the conflict in the region, on April 3rd, the Federal Aviation Administration issued what's called a notice to airmen, prohibiting U.S. commercial flight operations in the airspace over Crimea and portions of the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov. But the notice did not cover the airspace where the Malaysia Airlines jet crashed. The Malaysian Prime Minister today said the plane's route had been considered safe. Today, after the plane went down, other aircraft began to avoid the region, as seen on this flight radar map. The FAA has announced U.S. planes will also stay out of that airspace. No airline in the world has gotten as much scrutiny over the last 4 months as Malaysia Airlines. Since March, along with the Malaysian government, it has been part of an international effort to find its missing jetliner MH370, which disappeared from radar with 239 people on board. It was en route to Beijing from Kuala Lumpur and is now believed to have crashed in the southern Indian Ocean. Typically, investigators try to get to the scene as quickly as possible, but Scott, in this case, because it's a war zone, it's unclear if and when a U.S. team of investigators will go to the crash site.
Our transportation correspondent, Jeff Pegues. Thank you, Jeff.